Ever felt that punch in the gut when Miami's front five collapses again, and you just know that GM Chris Grier pulled another disappearing act on the O-line? That moment when the real-world scoreboard bites you, and you realize he's been treating the draft like a late-night Madden session, fumbling crucial assignments and leaving the trenches looking like yesterday's faded jersey? You've seen it before. The offseason whispers, the shiny headlines about drafting defensive tackles. "We got this," Grier said, and you're nodding along. Then training camp rolls around, and you look at the projected starting tackles, and the secondary is barely holding itself together. Feels familiar, doesn't it? Let's unpack this. For years, the O-line has been a weak link nicknamed the human turnstile. Grier talked it up like, "We're focusing on it." But then he goes and hands out big money to secondary guys. Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, Kendall Fuller, Byron Jones. They were great for a bit, sure, but their contracts, they still cast shadows over the cap, long after they packed up and left. Meanwhile, the offensive line? Barely a backup plan. Now Grier finally acts, and how? He trades picks to grab more defensive tackles. 3 of his 7 picks go there. Imagine trying to shore up a leaky boat by adding more anchors. Solid move if you're worried about sinking. But did he patch the leak? Hell no. Someone watched the flag go down and thought, "Hey, we need more guys up front to stop the run." Fine, but isn't pass protection a thing? And here's where it stings. Tackle gets fixed. Well, maybe. But coughed up secondary? Completely ignored. It's like patching a flat tire while ignoring the engine sputtering behind you. Check this out. Projected boundary cornerbacks are Artie Burns, who's more phantom than player health-wise. Storm Duck, undrafted, second year, no guarantees. Cam Smith, teetering on bust. And Ethan Bonner, a flicker of promise. That's the quartet likely tasked with stopping NFL-caliber wideouts, nickel after nickel. Yikes. They tightened the purse strings this offseason, too. No new deals for Jono Smith, Zach Sealer, both in need of extensions. Not a single dollar tossed at a veteran corner, even though that's the unit in tatters. Save money. But is cutting overtime on the chainsaw right time? This splits the season in 2. First half. Should be fireworks, schedule soft. O-line had time to gel, and maybe some new D-tackles will flash early. But flip past mid-season, and the real truth shows up. Offenses stack blitzes, Dolphins can't adjust, and cornerbacks start bleeding under pressure. Looks great until they don't. And if that secondary doesn't click, it all goes south fast. Remember, you can't carpet bomb every game. Depth, discipline, instincts, those corners need all 3, and they're likely one injury, one bad coverage away from collapse. Then what? Floating into the offseason like they forgot they were still playing? Let's zoom in on the mindset. Grier's thinking, we've got youth, we'll develop them, the coaching staff will tighten it. Nice buzzwords, but walking down the wrong path. NFL seasons aren't trials, they're slaughterhouses. You don't get to ease into toughness. You get tested every week, and youth needs vets around, especially at cornerback. They need someone who's been hit in the face before, who's seen the blitz before. They need calm. Instead, Grier's banking on hope. Want proof he's sticking to this. No move in free agency for contrast. $0 on any veteran corner. Not a whisper of a deal. Grier's message. This is our crew. We're keeping it cheap and tight. But staying cheap on the only unit that hemorrhaged last year? That's the opposite of fixing. And so, the story builds. Fast start. Fans feel electric. Highlight plays happen. Everything's blissful. But come November, that O-line gets tired. The corners get peeled off. The D-tackles can't carry a full load alone. Opponents surge. It's national questions. Grier's decisions come under fire. You've seen it in formulaic repeats. Offensive issues. Defensive strain, no cohesion, early off-season exit. Here's when you've got to ask, is Grier clearing house on one side of the ball at the cost of the other? A tactic or a gamble? A chess move or blindfolded checkers? Because you can't patch 2 holes with 1 bolt, and the secondary is a hole big enough to drive a truck through. Still, maybe it works. Maybe Burns turns into a dependable starter. Maybe Smith blossoms. Maybe Bonner surprises. Maybe the rookies fit in better than expected. Maybe Greer's play in the trenches shutters lanes and gives the offense room to score. Maybe coordinators adjust, chemistry blooms,